It's Tuesday, and this episode of Pucks Across Borders brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. Thousands of cards on sale at firstroundcollectibles.com. Use the promo code SportsAddict for 10% off. What's your sport? Hockey, baseball, basketball, football, wrestling. I wouldn't buy a wrestling card, but maybe you would, and you can on firstroundcollectibles.com. Use the promo code SportsAddict for 10% off. That's the number one, STRoundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not the same as these cats.
Hey, welcome, Pucks Across Borders Tuesday edition. Positive Tuesday, gentlemen. We were talking about my beloved Eagles for like half an hour before the show. It's out of my system. It's all positive vibes until we talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course. But long way till then. Beside me, I'm going to stop guessing left or right because I'm too stupid. Beside me on the screen, he writes about the NFL. You read his work on Gridiron Heroics. Lots of content coming out this week. I am assuming. John, how are you on this Tuesday morning?
Doing good. And actually, I've written some content on your beloved Eagles in the last 24 hours. Good and bad, you know. But
good.
A little
Good.
bit. I'm
I'll
trying.
have to read that.
But in the hockey world, reading some of these money lines today for the games tonight, they're honestly very obscure and maybe the most odd money lines I've seen in a while. I look forward to diving into it.
Andre, you see him on Total Apex Sports. He just talked about the NBA. Go check out that episode before the games as well. You read his work on the NFL on Gridiron Heroics as well, and Winners and Whiners. Andre, how are you feeling on a Tuesday morning? Afternoon. Why? I don't know why I keep saying morning, but whatever. It's Tuesday, man. How are you?
I think the snow makes it feel like perpetual morning until it's
nighttime.
Yeah. Yes. I'm doing pretty well. A bit distracted lately by the news that I'm going to talk about in a bit, but pretty good overall. Pretty nice day. Football, really interesting, fun weekend for me. I'm sorry, man. I know it wasn't for you, but it was a good time for the playoffs.
Well, the weekend was fine. I mean, the weekend was fine. The underdog Texans won. The Packers beat the Cowboys. You and me, like us three collectively, hate the Cowboys. That was wonderful. The weekend was great. It was just, Monday night, which anyway. Speaking of all that, though, keep an eye out on Sports Addict Live. We're going to have 3 different shows this week live on X and on YouTube. Talking about the NFL. I got a bunch of different guests lined up. One guy who I will announce later, who is a diehard Cowboy fan, pretty popular dude in the sports gambling world on Twitter, especially. So him and I are going to talk about the Birds and the Boys, which I'm pretty looking forward to that. And I know Andre, you're going to come on as well, and a couple other people. So it's going to be a lot of fun if you're looking for some football talk to get ready to look back and get ready for the divisional round. Keep an eye out on Sports Addict Live on Twitter at Sport Addict Mark. All right, let's dive into some puck. John, we'll start with you, man. Takeaways from this crazy weekend that was. And with all the football, I will say, and there was a lot of hockey too. Martin Luther King Day yesterday, lots of hockey. There was so much sports. I don't even know where to begin. John, where are you beginning?
I look at this like a long weekend, so we definitely had plenty of hockey to talk about, and we're definitely not short on options for takeaways. But if I had to pick one, I'll talk about a Philadelphia team that's doing more positive things at the moment, and that's the Flyers. I mean, when we left off on the show last week, they had just bounced back in a tight game against Montreal. After being down 2-0, they found a way to win 3-2, but that was early last week. Since then, they've won 3 more games. Friday night, we previewed that game against Minnesota. I didn't think they would win that game, but they ended up squeaking it out in overtime. And the next day, I think arguably the most impressive win during this streak, they shut out the Jets. I mean, who saw that coming for the Flyers?
Yeah.
And then they won one more after that. So quietly, last Monday, I thought the Flyers looked pretty bad against the Penguins. I was starting to get a little bit concerned about them, more wondering if they would be able to bounce back and where they would go from there. Flyers, I don't even think the Flyers are necessarily winning pretty during this winning streak. It feels like they've had to grind out each one before 4 wins, but they're getting the job done. And it's like, we've talked about this before. It's exactly what you would expect from a team led by John Tortorella. I mean, tight defensively, grinding out wins. I don't think any win has been more more than 2 goals during this winning streak. Like I said before, some they've had to come back from. So it's been a nice little streak for the Flyers, and I think they deserve some props for this stretch.
And they're going to be a really fascinating trade deadline conversation around them, right? Because they're kind of playing with house money. Like, it is still, according to them, it is still a rebuilding year, right? So if they're in the playoff spot, do they get greedy, make some trades? Do they just hold pat and just kind of let what happens happen? I'm really excited to see what comes out of them down the stretch towards the trade deadline. Andre, what about you, man? What's your takeaway?
A recent news report that just came out about he's more famously the Knicks owner. He also owns the New York Rangers. He did own New York Liberty during the dark times when he moved them to White Plains, among other ill-advised decisions. James Dolan, I'm not going to say he's guilty. I'm not going to say he's innocent. I'm just going to lay the facts out there. There's a lawsuit against him. A woman believes that James Dolan set her up along with Harvey Weinstein in the 2013-2014 time. I'm not sure the exact date. It said late 2013 and early 2014, but essentially she sued them for sex trafficking and sexual assault. It's a pretty big deal. So massive accusation, not one that's to be treated lightly. Obviously, he owns the second most valuable NHL franchise, the most valuable NBA franchise, Madison Square Garden, which is in its own little rift because Penn Station's under it. Invaluable piece of real estate.
Yeah.
Seismic accusations, and obviously it's not as important as the person, but seismic accusations in the sports world with the Dolan news. And I don't think anyone who's a fan of the Knicks or the Rangers will be sad to see him go if that's what it comes to. I'll leave it at that. I'll just say, when Donald Sterling got forced out of the NBA, Knicks fans were begging and crying and asking, why can't James Dolan openly be racist? Why did it have to be the Clippers owner? So let's get that guy out of here.
This might be an irresponsible thing to say, but are we sure that he hasn't been openly racist? Like, in the court of public opinion, James Dolan has done himself zero favors. Like this is clearly, if proven true, clearly the worst. But he's been a borderline scumbag for a long time. No, like you would know closer than me, but I feel like everything he touches has been a tire fire that makes money, but a tire fire nonetheless.
Yeah, I guess when I say openly racist, I mean in the same way that Donald Sterling was back then, when he basically said we don't want black people sitting courtside. Spike Lee still sits courtside. Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock, Mello, you name it. So he at least crossed that low bar. But yeah, he's pretty scummy. It's been known. He forces his band on people, which is allegedly where this all happened. His band was opening for the Eagles on tour. So dude's just a rich idiot. And you don't want to see most people fail, but I'm not going to feel bad for him at all.
Hold on. How did I not know this? James Dolan has a band?
I didn't know that either.
You guys are so lucky. JD in the Straight Shot. The man has a band.
Oh my goodness. This guy sounds like one of my buddies in high school. Like, hey, my band, come see my band. Or, I mean, probably more realistically, it sounds like me in high school. Come see my band. That's hilarious. I had no idea.
You should check it out for as long as your ears can stomach it.
Are they a good band?
I don't think it's a positive sign of the talents.
They play music. They played I'm sure they've played in Madison Square Garden before. It's an accomplishment.
They're probably opening for the Eagles, and the Eagles were like, who in the world are these guys? Why are they here? Yeah. That's yeah. I mean, from a distance, like I've been pretty harsh on him just from the standpoint of like the sports like side of it. Like I think the Knicks like to have so much publicity from the press box and from the ownership side of things, and also like not do well is just unfortunate. I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs experienced that with Ballard in the 80s. So yeah, that's tough. My takeaway, I actually had a takeaway that I wanted to get to when I talk about the Maple Leafs later in the show, but honorable mention, Marc-Andre Fleury, 552 wins, past Patrick Waugh, blanking the Islanders last night 5-0. Now second all time on the goalie win list. Second behind Martin Brodeur. I think it's safe to say that Martin Brodeur will not be passed. This is really, really loose math. It might not be entirely accurate, but I believe I heard he would have to have 35 wins per year for 6 seasons to catch up with Marc-Andre Fleury. And so to catch up with Martin Brodeur, sorry. So I feel like that ship is probably sailed. And once again, fact check me. That might not be entirely accurate, but either way, he is still far behind him. But hey, heck of a career, man. Like, first overall draft pick. I believe he is the last goalie to be picked first overall in a draft that ended up being the best draft of all time. And I don't think it's even close if you go back and look at that draft. Started the career with Pittsburgh, and moved on to Vegas. I was actually looking at his stats today, forgot that he got 19 of those wins with Chicago. Do you guys remember he even played for Chicago? I completely forgot that. But by all accounts, I never met the guy, but by all accounts, the best teammate, terrific personality. I love last night watching him. There was a shot that went off the crossbar, and he is like feeling up the crossbar in the post, like thanking his net behind him, and just an awesome personality in the game of hockey. Huge congrats to Marc-Andre Fleury for 552 wins in the NHL. Speaking of the NHL, why don't we get right into it? The Colorado Avalanche, tough loss. This is what drives me nuts, okay? I'm just gonna, because I am a self-absorbed, selfish Maple Leaf fan. You're up 3-0 on the Colorado Avalanche. You lose 5-3, and then Montreal beats them. If Ottawa beats them tonight and the Leafs choked up a 3-0 lead against this team, I mean, these are all hollow, like completely empty threats. I'm not going to do anything, but I'll be mad. I'll tell you that. I will be mad. Colorado is in Ottawa, -118 favorites on the road. Ottawa, -102. So no plus money for Ottawa tonight. -1.5 for Colorado is +195. +1.5 for Ottawa on the puck line is -238. The over is 7 at +102, and the under is -122. Andre, we'll start with you, man. What comes to your mind looking at this game tonight?
What comes to my mind is that this line is almost even, and I understand Colorado played in Montreal yesterday. The Senators have been home chilling since Saturday night. So obviously they're the fresher team, along with the fact that Colorado's been in Canada for 5 days or whatever it is now. But -118 against the Senators, who allow comebacks for fun. It's almost like a sport for them. I don't get it. I really don't. I can see Ottawa taking the lead in this game, and I can just as easily see the Avalanche coming back to win because they need these 2 points, and they're the better team, and the Senators can't keep a puck out the net. Even if that, red line had a full layer of brick walls in front of it. So I like Colorado money line here. I don't need to flirt with the puck line at all at -118. Just give me the Avalanche win. They're the way better team in this one. That's great value considering the disparity between these clubs. I know the Senators are better at home. The Senators are still not a good team. The Senators should not have the capability of containing Makar, McKinnon, Ratinen. Who did I miss? Niskanen. You name it. Not the way they're playing hockey this season. Give me the over. I think it's at 7.
Yeah.
And then give me that Avalanche money line.
What about you, John? What do you see here?
Throughout most of our podcast history, I haven't gone wrong picking against Ottawa. I just fade them. I fade them almost every time, and not that I keep an exact record. I feel like it almost always comes out. So I think it's just one of those things where I keep going until it burns me. I realize Ottawa won a game and on Saturday and haven't played since then. But as much as I love our Sharks, can we consider that their win was against the freaking San Jose Sharks when the Sharks were playing a road game? I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
How is this line near even? I realize Colorado lost last night to a not so good Montreal team, and they're playing back to back. And I normally don't like that, but considering Ottawa can't keep a puck out of the net right now, even in the game against the Sharks, they allowed 4 goals, which is concerning considering how many goals the Sharks typically put up. Yeah, give me Colorado until I'm fading Ottawa till it really burns me.
Yeah, so I don't understand how close these odds are. I do understand a little bit. 2 games in 3 nights for Colorado. Really hard fought game against the Maple Leafs. losing to the Canadians last night. Ottawa, like you said, Andre, I believe, said it. Andre's been in Ottawa just chilling. Ottawa has just been sitting in Ottawa chilling. I actually think that this is a really good. Now, I'll just preface this by saying I'm not picking Ottawa in this game, but I do think theoretically it should be a very good spot for Ottawa. I think Colorado looks tired. That game on Saturday night was crazy against the Leafs. The game last night against Montreal, Colorado should have won that game, and they didn't. I actually think this is a good spot theoretically for Ottawa. Do I think they're going to win this? No. But it has me nervous enough to stick with the over. I think Andre said it. I think the over here being plus money 7 is terrific. So the Avalanche, they have scored 4 or more goals in 5 of their last 7 games. 5 of those, or 3 of those 5 games, they scored 5 goals. So they're scoring a lot right now. On the flip side, Ottawa's lost 5 of their last 6 of their last 8 since December the 12th. That is 16 games. They've allowed less than 4 goals 3 times. In the last 16 games, they have allowed less than 4 goals 3 times. So to me, like you said it, it's the over all day for me. I would rather take that than a side. For whatever reason, Ottawa should be in a good place to win this game, and I don't think they will, but I think the over is a super, super good play. Both teams have been scoring goals and allowing goals. I don't know if I mentioned this yet. Also, Colorado has allowed 4 or more goals 4 times in that 7-game stretch as well. So scoring a lot, letting a lot of goals in. Also, I don't know the odds. We can find it. Colorado to come back and win from behind. We've noticed that trend with Ottawa over the last few weeks. Moving on to Washington. They are home against Anaheim, minus 185. Understanding that Anaheim had a big game against Florida yesterday, I still think minus 185 is ridiculous, but that's just me. Plus 154 are the Ducks on the road. Minus 1.5 on the puck line for Washington is plus 130. Plus 1.5 for Anaheim is minus 155. The over is 6 at minus 112. The under is minus 108. John Gibson is out, I believe, with an injury. Dostal should be in net tonight, but I haven't seen one way or the other. Short and sweet for me on this one. Ducks since December the 21st. That's 12 games. 8 games where they have scored 2 or less goals in the last 12 games. 3 and 9 in that stretch. Washington 3 and 8 in their last 11. Now, as Washington has been coming back down to earth as far as their record goes, I thought they played pretty good against your boys on the weekend, Andre. I know that they won Saturday, lost Sunday, but even the game that they lost, I thought they played pretty well. And shame on me for picking the Rangers minus 1.5 2 days in a row. That was tough. That was a tough loss to my wallet. But I think the under is the best play here. I don't trust the puck line. I do think Washington wins this game. I don't trust the puck line. Obviously, I don't love the money line. The 60-minute line makes me a little bit nervous because I see this game being 2-1, 3-2. I like the under at under 6 at minus 108. I think that's the best play by far for this game. John, what do you see here?
I agree with you. I'd be on the under in this game as well. We're dealing with the third and fourth worst teams when it comes to scoring in the NHL, so I would not trust either of these teams with a puck line. I think minus 185 is way too much to back the money line for Washington's end. Anaheim would be a tempting pick. They are coming off a very nice win yesterday against Florida. I think that's the only money line play I'd consider, but I still don't trust Anaheim enough to like go with it. I like the under a lot better personally, like you. Not only because these two teams struggle to score in general, but also because both of these teams, in my opinion at least, are coming in a little bit tired. Anaheim just played an overtime game on the road yesterday and now have to fly up to Washington. The Rangers had a tough home. Not the Rangers, sorry. Capitals had a tough home against the Rangers. That's what I meant. Over the weekend, they played that back to back, and now this is their third game in 4 days. And against a team like the Rangers, you're probably going to be exhausted by the end of a home, my opinion. So I expect goals to be at a premium tonight. Under 6 is looking very, very tempting just because of the makeup of both of these teams and what each of their schedules have been like going into this.
What about you, Andre? What do you see here?
Well, I don't know where to start. I think the over is going to hit. Disagreeing with both of you, and part of the reason I have a bone to pick with Washington a little bit. So obviously, we watched both games, or I watched both games over the weekend. They played the Rangers twice, whatever. These clowns who I've been begging all season, start Charlie Lindgren. He's your best goalie. Keep him in net more often than not. They started him in both games of the back-to-back of the home and home.
It's your team.
But finally, you listen to me, and this against my team. And of course, the guy plays well because he's having a great season. And he's just, why would you do that? So with that being said, Darcy Kemper is starting in this game for Washington. Obviously, you said Gibson's not in the Anaheim net. I'm not trusting either of these goalies that much. I know the offenses aren't great, but Washington was part of it was the Rangers sloppy with the puck, but Washington was causing chaos, getting turnovers, getting good looks on Saturday and Sunday. They had a lot of high danger chances. Anaheim, a bit streaky, bit up and down, but they scored 5 goals their last game. They scored 5 goals in Nashville recently. They scored 3 in Carolina. If my math is correct, they score noticeably more on the road. They're obviously a better team on the road as well. I'm going to trust the offenses here. I'm going to take the over 6. I think this is a game that's going to be higher scoring, surprisingly. And I think just to be petty, I'm going to take the Ducks. But in all honesty, I really don't like a lot about the Capitals' odds in this game. I don't trust the puck line. I don't trust some 60-minute line. Minus 185 is a steep money line. So I think I'm just going to roll with the Ducks. Partly because of the odds, partly because I'm petty. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I can't argue. The fact of the goaltending matchup is definitely a good counter to our under argument. I'll say is that Dostal's been, if he is in net tonight, sneaky good until I pick him. Maybe I'll just do that for your overhead. I'll just pick him on my fantasy team and he'll allow like 9 goals and they won't
appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, heading back to Madison Square Garden, the Seattle Kraken are playing the New York Rangers. Rangers minus 225 on the money line, which I think the Rangers should be favored in this game. But Seattle's been playing some good hockey. I know they played last night. I know they lost last night, but their goaltending's been tremendous and they've been playing well. And minus 225 seems super rich to me personally. But minus 225 on the Rangers, plus 185 for the Kraken, minus 1.5 on the puck line, plus 114 in favor of the Rangers, plus 1.5 at minus 135 for the Kraken. The over is 6 at plus 102. The under is minus 122. Andre, as always, we'll start with you, man. And I know we got a lot of games to get to, but I just want to hit this with you real quick. You sent us a text in the group chat over the weekend that we got to keep you honest here. We got to keep you objective.
Yeah.
As objective as you can as a Rangers fan. How you feeling about your team right now, man? It's a little bit concerning.
It's a lot bit concerning. They should not be favored by this much. And if I was more objective, I would take the Kraken money line in this game, even the second half of a back-to-back. But I'm not objective, so I'm just not going to touch a side in this one. I'm just not going to tell people what to bet here. I'll be brief about the Rangers. Sloppy with the puck. Offensively, they're getting good looks. They face some good goalies lately. They're just getting a little too cute. That happens with this team from time to time. They just search for the perfect shot instead of a good one or just getting it on the net. It is what it is. That doesn't concern me. What concerns me more is the turnovers, especially in the D zone. What concerns me is the odd man rushes and the breakaways that nullify a strong goaltending duo. What concerns me is Jacob Trouba and Keandre Miller just going from our top D pair to two guys I don't want to see on the ice, honestly, at least not in the D zone. And, Key is my favorite player. So the Kraken, I know they got shut out in Pittsburgh yesterday, tired legs. But they've been playing better hockey lately. It's really hard to pick against them in this spot. If I had to pick a side, or if I had to pick anything from this game, I would take the over 6 more than anything. But as a Rangers fan, not super confident based on what I've been seeing lately. Special teams is still good, though. Sorry.
Yeah. No. You're good. What about you, John? What are you seeing here?
I was trying to see who might be starting in net for Seattle tonight because I know it's like a back-to-back for them because I'm trying
to
Gotcha.
Dredger. I can't remember how you pronounce it.
Chris Dredger?
Yes, Dredger. Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah. Because I'm trying to figure out this line. I know the Rangers are one of the better teams in the league, but this line just feels a little too high to me. That's why I was curious about who might be in net for Seattle to see if that could explain it a little bit. I'm a little nervous with this one. I mean, I don't call me biased. I don't think the Rangers deserve to be this big of favorites in this game. It's more because I think Seattle's a better team than the line seems to be giving them credit for. Seattle's coming off a bad game last night. There's no doubt about it. They got shut out by Pittsburgh. So I guess my logic is they have nowhere to go but up, right? And the Rangers, I know they didn't play yesterday, but I mentioned before in the last game that they just played a home and home over the weekend. And this is their third game in 4 days as well. So I don't love this spot for the Rangers. I think the biggest advantage here is their power play for sure, having the best one in the league. Seattle's actually been slightly better in net than the Rangers this year, at least in goals allowed. But they're basically right next to each other, so I guess it can cancel that out. Maybe I'm being a little reckless with these picks today. Maybe I'm being biased, but I really want to take that Seattle money line. I just think this is too high for the Rangers' end.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see about the total here and if the Rangers can be on the right side of it. In the last 2 games for Seattle, they allowed 3 goals and 4 goals respectively in the last 2 games. Last night, I believe it was last night that their winning streak was snapped, playing against the ageless Sidney Crosby, scoring 2 goals against the Kraken last night. So 3 goals and 4 goals, respectively, in their last 2 games. Their last 8 games before that, 0 games allowing more than 2 goals in 8 straight games. The goaltender playing tonight, how do you pronounce his name again? Dreiger.
Chris Dreiger.
He only started 1 or 2 of those games. Played terrifically. Google him, Wikipedia, all that. He has a really, really cool history. He's been fighting for his chance in the NHL for a very long time and finally been given his chance and has been taking it, been playing really well. On the flip side of that, the Rangers 3-6 in their last 9 games, 5 of those 9 games allowing 4 or more goals. Good games between the net on the weekend against the Capitals. And I'm not trying to be negative towards your boys here, Andre, but the Capitals don't score goals. So it's not like super telling to me per se. I like the under here from the Seattle defense and goaltending side of things. I think the Rangers are in a really good bounce back spot here. Kraken won 8 or 9 in a row. I can't remember what the final number was. I think 9. Lost against Pittsburgh last night, playing a back-to-back. Tough, heartbreaking end to the winning streak. I feel like the Rangers are in a really good spot to get this win tonight. But I'm curious if they can score and, more importantly, keep the puck out of their own net. My favorite bet in this game is the under. You can talk me into a 60-minute money line for the Rangers. I'm not too sure what those odds are. I wouldn't assume they're too great. But I think for value, yes, the Seattle money line is clearly very good value. But I really like the under. I know it's minus 122, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But I just think Seattle defensively and goaltending has been terrific for a while now. Moving on to a team that did the opposite of Seattle last night, and they listened to you, John. They heard you, and the Kings snapped their losing streak, beating the Carolina Hurricanes last night 5-2. They are in Dallas. Dallas is minus 130 favorites at home. Los Angeles is plus 110. Road Dogs plus 1.5 on the Kings side of the puck line, minus 218. Dallas minus 1.5 is plus 180. The over is 6.5 at minus 102, and the under is minus 118. John, what do you see in this game?
This feels like maybe it's just because of the amount of games that took place yesterday, but this feels like a rare day when I strangely love teams playing back to back because I'm feeling another one here. I don't usually like to pick teams on back to back, but I feel like I'm on a streak here. I do like the Kings in this one. Like you said, they listened to me. They finally snapped out of their losing skid. I thought last night was a big win, or yesterday was a big win against Carolina for them. Edmonton and Seattle were slowly creeping up on them. Kings need some glimmer of hope, and I think actually playing a back-to-back benefits them here because like you finally win a game and now you get to go back and play another one when you're finally feeling some positive momentum. And Andre, you said they typically like to play on the road this year. They get another road game tonight. But more importantly, I do think the Kings can neutralize Dallas's strengths. Both of these teams have decent power plays. Both of these teams have terrific penalty kills. I think the goaltending, at least since Ottinger went down for Dallas, at least, I don't think it's been quite the same for Dallas recently. I think LA is still a great goaltending team. I feel like they have the edge here in this matchup, despite Dallas having being slightly better in goals per game. But I think I'm feeling the Kings will prevail here and keep their winning streak going. I do like them with positive money in this game.
What about you, Andre? What do you see here?
Me and John are in lockstep yet again.
Here we
For
go.
different reasons, though. Mine is more of, I think today's a big goalie day. I kind of got a bone to pick with the Stars. So, Jake Ottinger, I've been Googling him every day for the past month. He's going to be at the top of my Google search at the end of the year.
It's a bit obsessive, but that's okay.
Yeah, just a little. Don't get a restraining order, please.
Sure.
No, but he came back over the weekend, right? Started, whatever. This guy coming off an injury, their goalie, their number one guy, the one that's supposed to win them playoff series, get them to the cup, blah, 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 blah. They start him 2 days in a row. And the second game is against the freaking Blackhawks. To me, that's coaching malpractice. That's a game where a guy just coming off injury, a guy that you want fresh for the playoffs, needs to rest. I don't care that you lost his first start against the Predators. He does not need to be playing against the Blackhawks, not coming off an injury, not when he played the day before. And he's probably not going to be in net for this one now because he did just start 2 games in a row after an injury. And this game is way more important than beating the Blackhawks. So I'm taking the Kings. I agree with what John said about them keeping the momentum because they're playing 2 nights in a row. I do not like that the Stars potentially won't have their best goalie in a matchup that could be crucial for determining a home ice in a playoff series. I also just don't really love, outside of their games, against Minnesota, not really in love with what the Stars have been doing lately in general. You take the 5 games outside of that back-to-back, and they have 4 losses. The 1 win was the 3-1 over the Blackhawks, but only scoring 3 goals against the Blackhawks doesn't really move the needle for me. So I like the Kings in this one. As far as the total, 6.5 might be just a little too steep, so I think I lean under. But I'm going with the Kings for sure.
Yeah. Man, I'm on an island here today, boys. A couple of these games. I'm all by myself. I think Dallas wins handedly here. I was digging through it a little bit. Los Angeles, as we said, they ended an 8-game losing streak last night. Dallas has won 3 out of their last 4. Not, like you said, they haven't been playing super impressively, but they've been winning games. Still 25. It's like weird, man. Like teams like Dallas, teams like Colorado, where we feel a little bit concerned about these teams. You look at the standings, they're still 25, 12, and 5. Now, I'm an Eagles fan, so looking at the standings halfway through the season, we all know how that ended for me, don't we? Anyway, I like, it's weird, man. John, you're sticking with the underdogs in a lot of or not underdogs, sorry. Underdogs.
The last 2 at least.
Back-to-back spots, specifically back-to-back spots. I'm really liking the totals here. The Dallas Stars, 2/3 of their games. I went in depth about this on, I believe it was Friday, or at least late last week. 2/3 of their games have gone over 6.5 goals. They are scoring goals and they're letting goals in. I really like the over here. Just double checking the odds that I had here. -102 for over 6.5. I really like that spot. Cam Talbot is in goal tonight. He was not in goal last night. This is how confident I am. Now, this could be a genius general manager move for me as a fantasy hockey team owner. Or it could be one of the worst decisions of my career. I'm starting Peter Mrazek over Cam Talbot in net tonight. I think that Dallas has been at home waiting I don't believe they've played. They beat the Blackhawks on Sunday, you said, right? So they had yesterday off. The Kings had a crazy monkey off the back moment last night. They scored 5 goals, something they do not do very often. They don't score very much like that. And I think it's a letdown spot for them. And I like Dallas big. I am comfortable enough with the money line minus 130. I don't want to get super greedy and add the puck line to it. But I like the money line Dallas, and I really, really like the over in this game. All right, to a team that, wow, a lot of streak talk in these last few games. A team that the streak ended for Winnipeg against the Philadelphia Flyers over the weekend. Minus 185 at home against the Islanders. Islanders getting shelled by the Wild in Minnesota last night. Now, Minnesota and Winnipeg are not super far from each other, but still far from home on the road. Minus 1.5 on the puck line is plus 136, which is pretty low odds for a puck line. Plus 1.5 for the Islanders is minus 162. And the Islanders are plus 154 on the money line. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not. The over 6 is minus 102. The under is minus 118. Kyle Connor back on the ice for the Jets tonight. I don't think it's his first game back. I don't know how much that will really matter or make a difference. However, great to see him back. Was having a career year before he went down on a stupid knee on knee. I don't remember a lot of things, but I remember that it was a knee on knee with Strome on the Ducks because it was stupid and it bothered me. And that's pretty much what I remember. I don't remember good things. I remember when I'm mad. All that being said, the Islanders have 7. So this is interesting. 7 of the last 10 losses by the Islanders, minus 1.5. They've lost by. In 7 of the last 10. The Jets ended an 8-game winning streak. Like I said, they've still only lost 4 games since December the 1st. 12 of those 16 wins by minus 1.5. I think the Jets came off a really tough loss against the Flyers, like you mentioned, John, on Saturday. I think the Islanders had a really demoralizing defeat last night. Really bad spot for the Islanders. Like I said, 7 of their last 10 losses, losing by minus 1.5. Jets, 12 out of their last 6 wins, winning by minus 1.5. Give me Jets minus 1.5. I think this is a great bounce back spot for them, and I think it's an awful spot for the Islanders. Andre, what say you?
Yeah, this is my first puck line pick of the day. It's going to be Jets minus 1.5. I'll start with the Islanders. They've lost 4 of their last 5. In that stretch, they've allowed 21 goals. In that stretch, the 4 losses are all by multiple goals. In that stretch, they've only scored 3 or more goals one time. Then you have the Winnipeg Jets, who, even though they lost on Saturday, only allowed 2 goals. Yet again, you have to go all the way back to game number 8 on October 28th to find the last time. I'm sorry, game number 10 on November 2nd to find the last time they allowed more than 4 goals in a game. Oof. The Knights put up 5 on them. They've played 42 games now. That's a 32-game stretch where they have not allowed more than 3 goals. And we've covered the Islanders plenty this year. Their goaltending issues, especially lately, they're really struggling. They're not really scoring right now either. I know Minneapolis to Winnipeg isn't very far. Manitoba's right above Minnesota, but you still have to cross customs. Islanders aren't having a good month. They're not scoring. They're not keeping the puck out the net. The Jets are a great team. Jets are getting Kyle Connor back. I don't think this one's going to be close. I like Jets minus 1.5 because it's still, plus 136. I would flirt with minus 2.5, but that might be a little greedy. So just Give me the -1.5. I'll take the under 6 simply because I'm fading the Islanders offense.
Before I get to you, John, Andre, you said that the Islanders have scored 3 or more goals in how many games recently? Not very often. How many? One, right? One of the last what, 5?
Yeah.
And they've lost 4 out of the last 5. Is that right? You said that? What was the game that they won out of that 5? And what was the game that they scored more than 3 goals?
John, you want to rip the Band-Aid off, or
stupid friggin' team? My Maple Leafs drive me insane. So stupid. John, I'm having a tough weekend with my teams, boys. I don't even know if I like sports anymore. John, what do you see in this game, man?
I won't lie. I was gonna try to dance around that when I was gonna talk about the Islanders because I was aware of it, but I knew you were having a rough day already, so I didn't want to twist the knife. Getting to the Islanders, that one win was in overtime, and I agree with you guys. Winnipeg 1.5 seems like the play. Also, my first puck line pick of the day too. Especially with Connor coming back, this just has all the makings of a Jets win. Hopefully they coast for once when I pick them on a puck line. That combined with the fact I feel like the Islanders are starting to fall back down to earth a little bit, regress to the mean, so to speak. Before the new year, I remember us talking about for days that the Islanders have a ridiculous amount of overtime losses. I feel like we're starting to see what the team is like when they don't get those puck bounces. Kind of who they really are. They had a good run. I don't want to say they're completely out, but I feel like we're starting to see who this team really is now. Losing 4 of the last 5, they were due to lose a few of these games, and I think they're going to lose another one tonight by at least 2. So I like Winnipeg.
Yeah, and not to beat a dead horse here, but that game against the Leafs that they won in overtime, they were losing that game 3-1. The Leafs were dominating that game too, right? So, yeah, I think the Islanders are in a really tough spot. I agree with both you guys. All right, now this next game at face value is what John just did. Throw your head back and roll your eyes, but I think this game is sneaky interesting. I don't know why. I mean, listen, there's lots of great games tonight. I'll have my eye on this one vaguely. But I don't know. Something interesting about it. I don't really know why. I can't explain it. But Chicago is home against the Sharks. Now, I know the Sharks are bad. Should Chicago be favored -148 against anybody? I know Chicago. I know the Sharks are bad. I get it. But nevertheless, -148 at home is Chicago +124. And if Chicago's going to be favored by 148, give me better odds on the Sharks. You know what I mean? Give me some better plus money on the Sharks. +124 on the road. -1.5 on the puck line is +180. +1.5 on the puck line is -218. Sharks. The over is 5.5. -112. And the under is -108. I mean, what do you say? The Sharks have lost 11, or sorry, they are 1-14 in the last 15 games. 11 of those 14 they have lost by -1.5 or more. Chicago's 2-8 out of their last 10. They've scored more than 2 goals twice in that stretch. I don't know. I think Peter Mrazek has actually, you watch him, I thought he's actually played really well, considering the team that he's on, especially lately. I think they've been losing close games. They lost to Dallas 3-1 the other day. They beat Calgary close. They lost another game. They lost to Winnipeg 2-1. I think Chicago has actually been grinding out these games. I think Chicago wins this game. I'm not betting the puck line, 60-minute line, money line. I can't in good faith trust either of these teams except to not score. I think the under is a terrific play here. Like I said, both these teams aren't scoring a lot of goals right now. Peter Mrazek, you watch these games, he's actually been playing pretty well. Mackenzie Blackwood is, I believe, playing tonight. You watch his games too, like he actually plays pretty well. The only problem is with Mackenzie Blackwood games is the Sharks allow like 90 shots per game. So he's bound to give up like 4 or 5, right? But Chicago doesn't get too many shots on goal, if memory serves me correctly. So I actually think this is a close game, 2-1, maybe 3-1, 3-2. But I feel like this clears the under pretty handedly at -5.5, and that's my favorite play for this game. Andre, what do you have to say for this one?
In every sport except for basketball, I love watching bad teams go head to head. It's interesting to me. It's entertaining. And it says a lot about just the heart and structure, all that of the teams. And with that being said, I think the goalie's going to put on a show. Mrazek and Blackwood are going to be like, oh, hey, a winnable game. Oh, hey, we're not out-talented for once. Oh, hey, I can see the puck coming clearly. There's not a guy barreling down on me. So I think this game is going to be low scoring. Obviously, the offenses, both defenses and goalies are bad, but the offenses are also bad. I like the under 5.5. I think I like to say this about the Sharks. I feel like they smell blood in the water. I'm going to be very on the nose with that one. But when they have a game that seems winnable, I said it the other day when they played Montreal, I feel like they really bring it and they really fight. And I like the Sharks in this spot. I know they played yesterday, but Blackwood is starting. At least he had the DraftKings odds. This is a winnable game for them. I know the Blackhawks have played tough against some good teams, but at the end of the day, you got to put the puck in the net, and they haven't been doing that all year, basically, except for that one Calgary game. It's a bunch of ones and a shutout. The Sharks on this road trip, they have a 4-goal game. They have a 3-goal game. Those against bad teams, Ottawa and Montreal. I think the Sharks pull this one out. I think it's going to be like a 2-1, 3-2, 3-1, something like that this game. I think they have more heart too. I think that is important.
Yeah.
I think they play harder.
They definitely, like, you never get the opinion watching the Sharks that they're getting rolled on, right? Like, they're always even when they're losing 7-1, they're always putting up a fight. John, what do you see in this one, man?
A game I really don't want to pick. It was I hate these type of games, to be perfectly honest, and not just in hockey, but in any sport where you have like either the 2 worst teams or like 2 of the 3 worst teams playing each other, and like someone has to win. It's like, not only that, I have a gripe with the Chicago Blackhawks in general. Like, they have killed me. They have killed me on this show. I think they've made me to look the most bad out of any of these teams I talk about.
If you pick the Sharks -2.5, I don't even know what to say to you. That's the trend you had last week.
Yeah, I mean, I picked the Oilers 2.5 and the Jets 2.5 against them. Like, the Blackhawks fought within 1 in both of those. I mean, I swear after last week, I said I was going to go on a boycott picking Blackhawks games. I'm going to start that here. I'm using my stay away card on this. I think this is just a personal vendetta with Blackhawk games in general, and this is about the worst one possible to pick. I think my heart wants to pick the Sharks. Gun to my head, probably I'd pick the Blackhawks, but I don't feel good recommending a pick when we're talking about the 2 worst teams in the league when it comes to scoring goals, and 2 of the 4 worst when it comes to allowing them. So, bottom line, there's nothing good I really have to say about this matchup whatsoever. I feel like I don't know. I feel like only people like us are even thinking about picking a game like this.
Oh yeah. And I'm picking the under. I think it's a lock.
There you go.
$100, John. Put $100 on it. Call it a day. No,
I'm
I
just
hear you,
using my
bro.
stay away card.
No, I mean, Andre's the only one with the stones to pick a side here. I don't. I'm a wimp on this one. Just like you, John. We're both wimps, and we're staying away. But I do like the under. All right, 2 games to get here. 2 here quickly. 2 last games. Arizona is in Calgary. Calgary is minus 148. Arizona plus 124 on the road, plus 1.5 for the Coyotes puck line, minus 192, minus 1.5 for the Calgary puck line, minus 160, over 6.5 at minus 105, while the under is minus 115. John, we'll start with you, man. Where do you see this game going?
My gut feeling says Calgary wins. I kind of like them in this spot mainly because I remember the last time these 2 teams met up, it was in Tempe, and back then I do remember Calgary being a weird road favorite in that game. I think they were minus 130 then, and I said this looks weird. And looking closer at the numbers, it started to make a little sense to me. These mainly because you wouldn't expect Calgary to win. I mean, back then Arizona was coming off a big win against Boston, but like here, these 2 teams are almost even in goals allowed. I think Arizona is slightly better, but not by a significant margin. I think it's 3 exactly for Arizona and 3.09 for Calgary. Calgary is slightly better in goals per game. The power play is where Arizona has a significant advantage. Penalty kill, Calgary definitely has an advantage. So these 2 teams can cancel each other out in some areas. I think like the last time these 2 teams met, I can't seem to ignore the money line being presented in front of me. And I tend to believe Calgary matches up with Arizona well for some reason. I'm leaning towards taking Calgary, but the money line is a little higher than what I would want them to be. The problem is I really don't trust them on the puck line either, so I'm a bit torn here. I think I'd take Calgary if you could pair it up with something well in a parlay, but I think that's about all I can do here because I do think Calgary wins. I'm just not that confident in the puck line.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, listen, first of all, with the puck line comment, Markstrom has been ruled out and is day to day right now. For the Calgary side, he's been playing well, so he won't be in tonight. Wolf was called up, and I believe Vladar is in net tonight, if I remember correctly. So I don't really like the puck line play here either. I think Arizona 2 and 4 in their last 6. Like you guys, like nobody's been higher on the Coyotes than me this year. I really, really like this team and I want to see them do well. I just think these are 2 teams. I don't think the Coyotes are out of the mix by any stretch. I don't think that they're regressing to back to what they were over the last few years. I just think these are 2 teams playing at different levels right now. Flames 9-4, starting towards the end of 2023. 9-4 in the last 13 games. The last 9 games for the Coyotes, in 6 of them, they allowed 4 or more goals. Calgary making a goaltending switch last minute. I like the over here. 6.5 minus 105. I like the over here. I really, really want to pick the Coyotes, but they just haven't been playing well. And I mean, Calgary has. That being said, on the 5 teams that we don't trust, Calgary's in there somewhere. I don't know if they're number 5, number 4. I know for Andre, they're probably number 1, or top 2 anyway. But I think I'm just sticking with the over here. I think this is a good spot for the Coyotes to kind of bounce back. They've been reeling the last 6 games, like I said. I think it's a good spot for them to bounce back. But I mean, Calgary's been playing well. I just, yeah, I don't trust it at all. I mean, listen, a couple good days. I had one good day gambling, one bad day gambling. I'm not trying to rebound in my gambling world with Calgary on my card. I'm just not doing it. But the only prop that I will mention today, Keller, 3+ shots, lock it, send it, it'll hit. Andre, what do you see in this game, man? I know you're dying to talk about this team.
Well, me and Calgary, we had our issues in 2023, but we hashed things out on New Year's Eve.
New Year's resolution.
2024 is a new year, and now I have the hottest date in town, the Flames. I've been picking them a lot lately. It's been working. I think they've won every weekday game in 2024. I think I've picked them in every single one of those, and I think I'm gonna keep it going. I think we're gonna take the 60-minute line too. Famous last words, I know, but they're playing well. They've won 6 of 8. The Coyotes are not playing well. They've lost 4 of 6. That includes the game in Tempe where the Flames lit them up 6-2. Now they're flying to YYC, and that doesn't help Arizona at all. The Yotes are worse on the road. Like we've said plenty of times here, Calgary is better at home. I know their season has gone awry, but they're 10-7-1 on home ice. So, and you have to think in that locker room, those guys are still thinking, we can make the playoffs. We can make this run. This is a game where if you want to do that, directly make up 2 points for a team you're trailing. So I like Calgary. I'm going to take the 60-minute line. If you're looking for a total, I would lean under. I know the last one was over, but I think I trust defenses and goaltending more in this game, even with Markstrom out. So I think I would lean under for this one.
All right. Moving just a couple hours north. I think north.
Yeah.
All right, north. Edmonton, Alberta, -155 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I do think, and I don't think this is a Toronto Maple Leaf fan talking, I think this is the game of the night. You got Matthews, you got McDavid, you got two teams who like Edmonton. I mean, let's just start there. Edmonton, 10-game winning streak, 18-3 over their last 21 games. The first 6 of the 10-game streak, 3 goals or more, and 3 goals once. So 4 goals or more in 5 of those 6 games. The last 4 games, though, 3 goals scored or less. Now, so scoring a little bit less, but still squeaking out victories. The interesting part of this from the Edmonton, what's the one thing we've been talking about with this team up until like the last couple weeks has been our inability to trust the goaltending, right? That's been a huge issue for them. They currently have a $5 million goalie in the minors. That's how bad this goaltending situation has been. That said, in this 10-game winning streak, they allowed more than 2 goals twice. Twice in the last 10 games have their opponent scored 3 goals or more. So the defense has been locking it down. The goaltending's been very good. I do think that Skinner's legs are going to fall off here soon. He's playing a lot of hockey, and I do believe he is in net tonight. Now, on the Toronto Maple Leafs side of these things, or of this thing. So, over the stretch of their 4-game winning streak, I said to you guys a few times, they beat Los Angeles. Los Angeles have been reeling. I know that they beat the Sharks twice and the Ducks once. However, this is some of the best hockey that I have seen this team play, probably the best that I've seen this team all year. The fact that the Sharks and the Ducks stink didn't matter to me because the Leafs lose against teams that stink. That's what the Leafs do. So the fact that they were beating these teams convincingly was super encouraging. Well, they are now on a 3-game losing streak, and they had leads in 2 goals of 2 goals or more in all 3 of those games. Super well, at least the Islanders and Colorado for sure. I think they had a 1-goal lead against Detroit. Now, I understand that the game against Detroit, and I apologize, guys, buckle in because I'm going on a bit of a rant here. I understand that the game against Detroit was a back-to-back. You blew a 3-goal lead against Colorado on Saturday. But you know what? That game, that loss is actually more concerning to me than the collapse against the Avalanche. Colorado has its warts, and we're concerned about them in certain elements of their game. However, Colorado is Colorado. This team can score 3 goals in 5 minutes. They're a very, very good hockey team. You take your foot off the pedal, they will make you pay. So you lose 5-3 to Colorado. Not great, but it's Colorado. Because of the weather in Toronto over the weekend, Detroit showed up to this game an hour and 15 minutes before puck drop. They got their equipment on half an hour before. Like, this team was traveling stuck all day. And you played at home the night before. You were waiting in the stadium all day. And not only do you lose to this team, but you cough up a lead. You lose by double digits. It's concerning here, man. And the Toronto media, I'm sure New York is very similar. But over the last couple of weeks, they've been playing very good hockey. The media has been pumping these guys up. Well, just like that, people are calling for Keith's job. Like, it's getting pretty crazy over here. I do not trust the Leafs tonight. I just don't, which probably means that they're going to win because that's what happens. I don't like minus 155. Unfortunately, I think I like the Oilers puck line here. And you can call me just bummed out Leaf fan. Maybe I'm not being objective on the negative side of things. But I don't think the Leafs are playing well enough to beat Edmonton. In Edmonton, both these teams are rested. Edmonton is more rested. The Leafs right now defensively have been average at best. 3-1 lead against the Islanders, 3-0 lead against Colorado, 2-1 lead against Detroit. I don't know. There's nothing in my right mind that can have me take the Leafs in this spot. I just can't. Austin Matthews' goal, I'm here for it. There is a really good boost on FanDuel for at least for Canadian viewers of a Matthews goal and a McDavid goal at, I think, plus 455 they boosted it to. So that's nice. Sorry, boys. End of rant. I can't see the Leafs winning this game right now. I just can't do it, which means they'll probably win by 4. So who knows? John, what do you see in this game, man? And keep in mind, I'm a depressed sports fan right now, man. Like, it's tough right now. My father-in-law said to me after the Eagles lost last night, my father-in-law said to me, "It's all right, Mark. Now we have the Raptors and the Maple Leafs." I said, that's literally the worst thing you could have said to me. Like minutes after the Eagles lose, you want to remind me that at least we have the Leafs and the Raptors? Anyway, John, what do you see in this game?
I said in our group text, sometimes we need outside opinions about our own teams to get more of a, how do I say this, neutral and unbiased opinion about the team.
Sure.
And I say this because I actually really like Toronto to win tonight. The main reason is because honestly, statistically, these two teams match up pretty evenly against each other. They're very close in goals per game. I don't want to go into goals allowed a little too much because some of that is Samsonov being, well, bad for Toronto. So I don't really value that too much in this circumstance. My point is they're near even offensively in almost every category, these two teams. I think Toronto can match up very well with Edmonton. And more importantly, I think Toronto is due for a win and Edmonton is due for a loss. Realistically, it is very, very difficult for an NHL team, really a team in any sport, in my opinion, to keep up a double-digit win streak. And Toronto has had some really tough losses of late, losing their last three. I feel like this team is too talented to keep going much longer. And Edmonton, they need to come back down to earth eventually. I feel like Toronto is a team that can match them, a team that can play their style very well, maybe better. I think this could be a close game, but I like Toronto to have a regress to the mean, so to speak, tonight.
I appreciate you, John. I don't think I tell you that enough. Andre, what do you see in this one, man?
Well, the Maple Leafs can't hold the lead, or in the case of the Detroit game, just can't stop the puck late in games. We talk about both these teams a lot. The offenses are never the issue. It's goaltending that's the victory maker. It's defense that's the victory maker. When that's going well, these teams are unstoppable. These teams win a lot. Edmonton, it's been going great. Toronto, it hasn't really been lately, following the San Jose game, or I guess games. So everything points towards Edmonton winning this game again and extending their winning streak, which is exactly why they're not going to. It would be the most Toronto thing ever to be the team that snaps the Oilers streak. It would be the most Toronto thing ever where everyone's all down on them. They can't stop the puck whatsoever. They're going up against McDavid and Draisaitl. TSN's licking their chops. And then they just ball out and they win like 4-1. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I like Toronto in this spot to snap the Oilers streak. All good things must come to an end. The Maple Leafs are better than a 3-game losing streak. The Maple Leafs know they have to be better. The Maple Leafs can, win this game and not only get the monkey off their back, the pressure off them, but send a little bit of a statement in the process. And I think they're going to do so successfully. I like the under 7. I like the Maple Leafs money line.
I like the under as well. I really do. Yeah, I mean, listen, you're absolutely right. And I mean, this is a game. You got 3 games in a row against the West Coast in Canada, right? You got the Oilers tonight. You got the Flames on Thursday. You got the Canucks on Saturday. So you got to get out of here, 2 out of 3. You got Tampa Bay right behind you. You got Detroit is on your heels. You need to get out of here 2 out of 3. And I do like them beating the Oilers more than I like them beating the Canucks, which, by the way, remember me talking about Saturday night against San Jose, a 7 p.m. Eastern start in Toronto. They're in Edmonton tonight, a 9:10 start. They're in Calgary on Thursday, a 9:10 start. They're in Vancouver on Saturday, 7 p.m., baby. Toronto, center of the hockey world. All right, let's wrap this up. Best bets brought to you by First Round Collectibles, promo code SportsAddict for 10% off any card you desire. Football card, basketball, baseball, hockey, wrestling, whatever, it's there. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com and find your heroes. Promo code SportsAddict for 10% off. John, why don't we start with you, man? What is your best bet of the night?
I almost wanted to go with Toronto, but I'm not going to give them the kiss of death here. I'm gonna turn to another road team playing tonight, and that's the Los Angeles Kings. I strangely really like this back-to-back spot for them. I have my own concerns when it comes to Dallas. I think they've been a bit shaky with goaltending of late, and I think this is a perfect spot for the Kings to try to continue their positive momentum. I think they're decent value getting plus money on the road here. And I think I trust the Kings goaltending more than Dallas right now. I never thought that was the issue during this losing streak. It was the fact that the Kings couldn't score at one point. They seem to have finally clicked, at least for one game against Carolina. I'm going to be interested to see if they click tonight, but I think they'll do enough to take care of business. Give me the Kings here.
What about you, Andre? What are you seeing on the best bet board?
Just real quick, I remember you asking about the Avalanche come from behind victory odds.
Right.
It's plus 270.
Okay.
I did find it for you. I'm going to go with a home team. I'm going to go Midwest here. And I'm going to take Winnipeg at home against the Islanders. The puck line at plus 136. The Islanders played on the road yesterday. They had to cross the border. They're not playing well in general right now. Winnipeg just had their their winning streak snapped. They're going to look to get back on track. They are the better team. They've been off the past 2 days. They're still on home ice. Everything about this game screams Winnipeg comfortably taking it home, and I think they will win by multiple goals.
Absolutely love it. That was my best bet too. I knew you were gonna take it. Let you have. No, I let you have it because I've stolen many. Just to let you guys know, if I do my best bets before you guys do, it's because I know you're gonna take one that I want. And I feel it. But no, my best bet tonight, I'm going back to the nation's capital, and I think that game goes over. I think that Colorado, they're scoring a lot and they're giving a lot of goals up. I think Ottawa is giving a lot of goals up, and they have the ability to score. So I'm going over in the Colorado Ottawa game just to refresh. Over is 7 at plus 102. Wouldn't hate you if you watered it down a little bit on a different sports book. Maybe we took the 6. But yeah, that's my best bet of the night. Plus 102 for over 7 in Colorado, Ottawa.
I keep forgetting we have 2 nations capitals when it comes to this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the Caps playing DC, the Senators playing Ottawa. So
I thought he was talking about the Capitals for a second, my Americanized brain.
Oh, yeah. No.
I knew what he was talking about. I was like, I really hope he specifies soon because this is going to
it did take me a
be
second.
kind of
I'm not gonna
confusing.
lie.
Ottawa, Ontario, rest in peace, Dave Fodds. Best bar I've ever been to. No longer there. My heart's with you. Yeah. You got that parlay cooking?
Yeah, we all took plus odds bets today. Kings money line is plus 110. Jets puck line plus 136. The over in Ottawa is plus 102. Mix it all together, and you got plus 901 parlay.
Love it. Let's roll. Well, boys, short and sweet. 1 hour, 23 minutes. I feel like compared to last week, or was it a couple weeks ago? It's like us freaking taking a day off. Amazing. Well, everybody, good luck on all your bets tonight. Keep a lookout on Sports Addict Live for lots of football content, as well as our daily NHL show, Pucks Across Border. Keep a lookout, Gridiron Heroics, for John and Andre's content, and we will see you guys tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. as always. We will see you then.